Hello, you folks. Welcome to John Solo's Beer Brigade. I'm John Solo. This is Little Lissa Gramling. This is the Ramblin Gramling Show, where we go over all the audiobook releases of the week. Again, because we recorded this show a few days ago, and I went to go post it up, and I realized there was no audio because I work with OBS and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
Well, didn't they have a little issue lately?
Everybody's had a little
Somebody's
issue.
having issues.
Yeah, Amazon's got issues today. Everybody has. And with all the Windows updates that have happened in the last 2 weeks, my system is completely, I've had to update everything several times. And I know I do it manually because I'm a control freak. But anyways, it is what it is. Now I need to minimize this up here.
Because I'm seeing myself twice, and I was like, no, not
there
good.
we go. So, our first catch of the day was called Shade by Stella Rainbow, narrated by Sam Stark. Then we had...
What did we have? Sorry, not that guy. By Felice Stevens, narrated by J.F. Harding.
There you go.
Wow.
Then we had Promised Secret, Promises, Book 3 by Ry Cox, narrated by Zachary Zaba. After that...
Better Than Baby, a better than good novella, better than series book 9 by Lane Hayes, narrated by Nick J. Russo.
Well, I hope it's better than. Next, we had His Forbidden Obsession by Sylvia Violet, narrated by Chorizo himself, Michael Dean. Then we had...
Veiled by Nicole Dykes, narrated by Avery Wild and James Davey.
Then we had All You Need Is Alien Love by All You Need Is Alien Love, Tentacular Tales Book 4 by Chloe Archer, narrated by Greg Boudreau / Tremblay. I'm sure you had fun saying that in the title, Greg. It was awesome. After that, we had our clip of the week. Let me get back over there. I got to move it over to there. Then we go.
There we go.
Here we go.
Hey there, John and Melissa. This is Little Kevy Earlywine.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me on your show to talk about Apollo's Courtesan, Lovers of the Gods, Book 1.5. This book is a follow-up to The Last Courtesan of Olympus, and it's written by Amanda Mavison. Here's a sample. You ask to know each other as men, but to know you, Apollo, is to know the god in you too. Lest you think men capable of magical instruments and disguises for treks to the earth. Dax grinned. He didn't mean it cruelly, as if I was incapable of humanity, only that my godhood was as intrinsic as my domains. Dax wasn't only taller, but broader, and more visibly muscled than this world-weary god, one who'd started my existence mortal and small, and never desired to be as hulking as some of my fellows. Dax was contrastingly solid and strong, yet still a fragile, precious thing that I feared I might break.
I bet you he touched his godhood a couple of times during that.
Probably.
Thanks for sending that in, Kev. Next, we had The Proposal, Obedience BDSM Series Book 4 by Annie Moon, narrated by Chorizo again, Michael Dean. After that, we had
His Coveted Obsession, the District Book 4 by Courtney W. Dixon, narrated by Harley Chase.
After that, Pints and Pool, Small Town Romance by T.L. Travis, narrated by Richard Ekman. Then we had
An Amateur Witch's Guide to Murder, a novel by Kay Valentine, narrated by George. I did this before.
Yeah. Jordan Diaz, I believe. I don't know. I don't fucking know how to say it. After that, we had Neutral Zone Trap, For Puck's Sake, Book 10 by Kriya Wrighton or Rattan, narrated by Sean J. Jane and Simon Dornay. After that,
Beautifully Conflicted, Front Range University, Book 3 by Michelle Leonard. Okay. Narrated by Tim Page and Zachary Zaba.
Then we had Mr. Collins in Love by Lee Welch, narrated by Joel Leslie. After that,
The Switch Up Playbook, Bats and Badgers, Book 1. That's a lot of B's. By A.J. Kyler, narrated by Michael Dean and Epson Cooper.
Yeah, close enough.
Espen.
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 After that, Dead and Breakfast by Cat Hillis and Rosie Thor. There's a lot of E's on there, Rosie. And then narrated by Daniel Henning. After that,
The Outcast, Breakfast at Bennett's Book 4. A lot of other B's now, by E.M. Denning, narrated by Kurt Graves.
then we had Dangerous Attraction, an MM Workplace Romance, Soho Nights Book 2 by Oliver Takeley, narrated by Ben Hart and William McLeod. There can be only one. After that,
Pity the Living, Not the Dead, by T.L. Travis, narrated by Bradley Swallows. That makes me giggle every time.
my goodness gracious. Then we had Hearts Adrift, a Texas beach town romance book 4 by Daryl Banner, narrated by Daryl Banner and C.J. Rivera. Then we had
Dead Wrong, an MM urban fantasy romance, Second Awakening Book 1 by Alexander C. Eberhardt, narrated by Joel Leslie.
And finally, we had Recipe for Trouble, a Grumpy Sunshine queer MM romantic comedy. Yep, that's a category. By Dylan Morrison, narrated by Jordy Evan Hope. And finally, what everybody's been waiting for, what Little Lissa Gramling listened to this week.
X Marks the Spot by Kit Berry and narrated by Greg Boudreau.
Trembler.
No, not that time. Okay. I gave this one 3 bullets. It's not a romance. It is a gay retelling of Treasure Island. And this young guy who doesn't have any family gets taken in by a widow and antiquities dealer. Wow. Who is trapped in debt and the dealer decides to go find some buried treasure. And Jamie comes along with him, and apparently he's entranced by this Captain Ambrose.
I bet she buries his treasure.
Yes, several times. And but apparently things happen and they get double crossed, and it has an HEA, but it still confused me on why he didn't end up with who he wanted to end up with, or who I wanted him to end up with.
Not sure what a homeowners association has to do with this, but I'm glad that
An
they have.
HEA, not an HOA.
My bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very good. I really enjoyed it though.
Yeah, when we talked about this last time, you said it was a little confusing to you because it wasn't quite the romance that you expected. But again, Kit Berry is absolutely phenomenal from what I hear. And of course, Greg is, he's fucking Greg. He's best in the business by far. And speaking of, on Facebook this week, I had a memory pop up where it was first time I met Greg at GRL. So me and him sitting at a table, and somebody else snapped a picture of us. So that was a lot of fun.
I saw that one. I liked it.
Yep. Anyways, thanks for doing this again. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Hopefully,
like I said, I had nothing to do today.
Yeah, hopefully next time we'll be a little smoother. So thanks everybody for hanging. Have fun. See you all next week, I hope. Peace out.